Like, as soon as I come back and, that's all I see, these flags everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And people, like, are getting a bit more aggressive now and getting a bit more like, even on roundabouts, there's painting all over roundabouts. She's interviewing this one guy and he's like, why don't you work?
There are some foreigners that are coming over and taking our jobs, yeah, and not even working.
Okay, and then how about your education?
They're taking all the qualifications as well.
Right? So look, if he's an illegal immigrant, and why all of a sudden is Islam the bad religion?
You know what's strange?
Lack of education, and they've been fully brainwashed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Guys, welcome back to another episode of Under Your Pomegranate Tree. I'm your host Ateiq Rahman, and today I'm joined by my co-host Maulana Emad Sahab. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. How's it going, Sheikh? You alright?
Alhamdulillah. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. MashaAllah, Maulana Sahab came with his kids and I got them some sweets. So I managed to get myself a little lollipop as well, MashaAllah. Where's yours?
In my pocket.
Are you going to take it home for your kids?
That was the plan, yeah.
How many kids do you have?
2.
MashaAllah, here's another one for them as well then.
Well,
Yeah, I'll give you one. There's
little
2.
one's too young for these, but
Chalo, give it to Babi, inshallah. No problem. Or, how's it going?
Alhamdulillah. How about yourself?
Alhamdulillah, man. Good. Just a bit shattered, man. I had to do some carrying some furniture around for Mufti Sahib earlier.
Your furniture for what?
Downstairs, mashallah, we have the Caring for Carers project.
Okay.
So every day between 5 and 7 p.m., the parents that come and drop their kids off, we've got like a little area where they can just chill out, have a cup of tea, just relax and things like that. And they needed another cupboard for to put their teas and coffees and things like that. So we just had to take that downstairs. So then we was already, alhamdulillah, we already had one. We just had to take it downstairs. So yeah, man.
Yeah, mashallah.
Mashallah. So whilst I've mentioned it, Caring for Carers, right? Have you heard of it?
Yes, I've seen a few posters of it.
Yeah, mashallah. Don't you see the parents when they come to be behind that curtain?
I'm not here.
Oh, you're not here at that time, innit? So we have the maktab classes at the front, and at the back we open up the curtains, and there's tea and coffee and biscuits.
So that corner.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of it.
We used to have a couple of brothers come, but now it's mainly sisters, the mothers that come and drop them off.
Usually they drop them off.
They get a chance to just kick back, relax, have some me time to themselves, mashallah, which they don't get. So you don't have to have your children inside this madrasa. So if you're free between 5 and 7 p.m., make sure you pop down, inshallah ta'ala. We've got 2 cameras here now, so I don't know.
What
I'm looking at you. You're gonna come, or are you gonna come, or are you gonna come? You've been there. So alhamdulillah, Sheikh, listen. What I wanted to talk about today, was something quite important. So I went on Umrah, mashallah, a few weeks ago. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept, right? And I come back and it's pandemonium. As soon as I come back and that's all I see, these flags everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And people are getting a bit more aggressive now and getting a bit more like, even on roundabouts, there's painting all over roundabouts and little crosses and this, that, and the other. What's been happening whilst I've been away, man? I take my eye off the ball for a couple of minutes, a few days, and look what happens.
Well, I won't lie, I'm very lost in the sense that, I live in a little bubble. So my life revolves around home, madrasa, maktab, back home, and repeat. That's my daily life.
MashaAllah, very protected.
Very protected, alhamdulillah. But little bits and bobs that I've seen myself, where far right, they're having their marches. On Coventry Road, at the bottom of Coventry Road, that big roundabout by McDonald's, I was surprised seeing a lot of flags there.
Yeah.
Because you don't expect it there, but surprising that they were very honest.
Why though, Sheikh? What are they hoping to achieve?
Apparently we're not wanted.
Yeah, but if we're not wanted, then who's gonna look after them in hospitals? Who's gonna look after the NHS? Who's gonna look after the public sector? Who's gonna look after the food sector?
The Hazrats we find in a corner of between Highgate Road and Stratford Road, where they ask for pennies. I'm sure they'll step up.
They'll step up. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, madness, man. So I know a little bit about what's happening. Obviously, I don't know whether this is true or not, but I think, you know, because of what's been happening in Palestine, mashallah, we've been trying to raise a bit of awareness over here. We've been supporting the Palestinian cause. We've been raising the Palestinian flag to raise awareness, right? And as it should be, we're living through a genocide which is happening before our eyes. We can't do much. We're on the other side of the world, and whatever, you know, if we can raise a bit of awareness, that's what we want to do. So mashallah, you know, you're driving down, you know, certain you know, Muslim, not only Muslim areas, any area that's got any type of heart and soul, right, you'll see a Palestinian flag hanging there. And I think a couple of people have seen this now, right, and thought, well, hang about, why is there a Palestinian flag hanging in my country? Right? They never thought about that when there was a Croatian flag hanging there a few years back, right? But now all of a sudden that is a Palestinian flag. Now for some reason they remember how British they are.
It was strange, you know. What I found strange is, like for example, the Covent Road one. I've seen it myself. I was wondering who are you trying to hurt? I don't think any Muslim that live in those areas care. I didn't care. It's your country, man. Put your flag up. What's the big deal? But for them, it was a statement. But I don't think Muslim cared. Like, it didn't matter to anybody. You know,
I just got surprised to see them. You know, like,
I know.
Like, where have you been all these years?
Exactly.
Why now?
Why now?
Right? Now that the country's going to pot, right? Now that all of a sudden you left you know, all that Brexit things happened, right? You left the European whatever, right? And now all of a sudden you remembered how British you are. Or is it because that you're not happy seeing the Palestinian flags? And is it because there's a few stooges in the background who are instigating all of this?
Yeah. It's how it seems like they're being paid just to instigate, create problems. There's one of my students sent it. I have, mashallah, masters of, you know, TikTok and every other social media as students. So they know this stuff more than me. So one of them sent me a video saying,
he's scrolling there secretly, you know what I mean?
I actually don't have it. I don't have it. The main reason I don't have it, when it initially came out, a sidetrack, but when it initially came out, I was curious. Because one of my students was telling me, Ustad, have you heard of something called TikTok? Like, what's that? Like, you know, it's like, he told me like Instagram, you know, you can scroll through, you see videos and stuff. I'm like, okay. At that time, I didn't pay attention. Later on, I think after a few months, I thought, let's have a look what this is. I downloaded it and checked what it was, just videos. Yeah, I didn't like it because the amount of time I had to spend just going ting, ting, ting. I'm like, okay, this is a waste of time.
It's addictive, isn't
it? It is. Then I came back on it just to share some, if you ever seen any of the videos, I don't know, if I'm on your contact, you'll see, maybe, you know, my name pop up. In there, you see some videos I posted recently. And after that, I stopped again. I'm like, I can't bother. I got no time for this.
So you're not following me either, Sheikh? Or Darul Ilm?
I have no idea. Huh? Maybe I know, but I don't even know.
Oh, so you deleted it off your phone?
I don't have it on my phone. I have it on my tablet, but I don't have time to use all the time.
Okay, that's a good idea. You know, take off your main device, put it on the side one.
Yeah, the only thing I have here, nothing except WhatsApp and Telegram because I use that for maktab, madrasa and stuff. And well, YouTube is part of it anyway. The rest is just.
Okay, Sheikh, go on. What were you about to say?
Yeah, so what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, so he sent me a video that, Ustad, have a look at this. So I had a look. He was my TikTok Sheikh. He sent me a video of a guy who's ordering some Indian stuff with the flag of, you know, English flag on his back. And he's going to the march, or he was in the march and buying Indian food. And he's saying, Ustad, have a look at this. This guy buying Indian food, marching for England. Wants the immigrants out, but eating Indian food, it doesn't add up.
Yeah, and then he's getting into a German car.
Yeah, that's.
You get me? And he's going to a Swedish petrol station.
No, these
madness.
Strange, isn't it? But anyway, it's strange, you know.
I don't get it, man. I honestly don't get it. Like, okay, listen, I know what we're seeing out there is not like the whole of, you know, the UK.
Yeah.
Right? It's a small percentage of them, right? We're obviously seeing, you know, those dole dusters, you know, who are, you know, when they're not queuing up for their JSA and they're not queuing up for the universal credit outside the job center, right?
So they do.
Then they're out over here. I'm surprised they even came out because the last time the riots happened, right, many of them got their benefits cut Because they're like, yo, you're claiming disability allowance, yeah,
But you're in the right.
and you're throwing that traffic cone across the street, mate. You're not disabled.
You're perfectly fine.
Do you know what I mean? So a lot of them had their benefits cut. So I'm surprised they even came out again. But I know they said there was something like 3 million of them that came out. It was something like, what was it, 110, 120,000
I'm
people.
looking at it now around between 110 to 150.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
look
what
at that. Nowhere
Al Jazeera
near
said.
3 million.
Al Jazeera saying that.
Exactly, man, exactly. So they hyped it up a lot. It's not the vast majority of people. MashaAllah, when the Palestinians, Palestinian supporters march, then mashallah, we're outside in our hundreds and in our thousands, you hear me, and close to our millions, right? And mashallah, we have people from all colors, right? We have whites, blacks, browns, you hear me, greens, whatever it is,
and
right?
anyone that have any humanity within them, they came out.
Exactly.
What's strange about these ones? Have you ever seen interviews of any of these far rights who go for march? Have you ever watched them?
Yeah, mate, we need to get rid of all these Muslimists.
Not just that. Ask them what they've done. Like, why can't they work? Have you seen the reply they give? Oh, I'm banned. Why? Because because I was in jail because of this, that. Like, so you're a criminal.
Exactly.
Like, they blame us.
Yeah, so
you're taking our
we
job,
took your jobs and we threw you in prison and we deprived you of an education as well.
Yeah.
There's one video I saw, yeah, when she's interviewing this one guy and he's like, well, why don't you work? Oh, because these immigrants have taken all our jobs.
That's wild.
Okay, and then how about your education? Oh, yeah, they took that as well. Subhanallah. You get me? So what we're seeing, yeah, I know we're having a laugh and a joke, yeah, because what we're seeing all the, the people who are just jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
We're seeing those people who are being used.
Of course.
You get me? Nobody in their right mind, you get me, is going to be going around, painting a bloody roundabout. You get me? A flag on a roundabout. What is the point?
Not the right flag, wrong flag. Have you
The
seen
wrong
the
flag
Denmark
as well.
The Denmark one.
I saw that one. So look, I'm saying no one's got that time to do it. It's these people who are, got no work, got no jobs, right? Got no education. They're being utilized and used for another agenda.
Of course.
So this is what's scary. The scary thing is it's that there's actually people who are quite well educated, who are quite well off, who are in the background, who are causing this. What's their agenda? I don't know. What are they hoping to achieve? I don't care, right? Makaru wa makarullah, wallahu khairul makirin. They have plans, but Allah is the best of planners.
Of course. To me, obviously, this is just me saying, in the history of mankind, where the evil existed, you can never make money unless there's fitna. Peace doesn't make you money. Even here, the people who run the country, they don't want peace because peace means no money.
Exactly.
Who are you going to sell your weapon to if there's peace? We'll go to another whole topic, so I don't want to get into it, but that's my basically summary of these type of division they create. For me, it's the purpose of it is to divide people, so there's no peace. There's no peace, there's money to be made. So at the end, it comes to dunya.
Divide and conquer. That's been their methodology, we'd call it, and their strategy, for a long time, right? And they're causing over here, but hopefully, inshallah, the vast majority of people will be able to see through that and unite under a cause. And I think this Palestinian cause is something worthwhile uniting under, because it doesn't matter whether you're Muslim, Chinese, Muslim, Christian, doesn't matter whether you're British, Chinese, it doesn't matter what you are, right? If you got a heart and if you got an ounce of humanity in you, your heart's going to bleed for what's happening over there in Palestine. And for somebody now, all of a sudden, I'm actually quite glad that these guys are taking some sort of pride in their country. Maybe then they'll do something about the litter. I was driving through Billsley here today, and I see this massive, Union Jack, right, outside somebody's house, and I look at the bottom and there's all rubbish there. I'm thinking, mate, rather than looking up at this flag, why don't you just look down at your own doorstep, right, and clean up that rubbish, right? All these people have been out there, going around there, putting all these flags up. We should say, carry on, put more flags up, but here, take a litter picker with you as well, right? And clean up the streets as you're going around it, right? Again, because the councils ain't doing nothing. So keep Britain tidy. Do you know what I mean? But I think Brother Amin has got some videos for us. Right? So he said, I'm going to show you guys some clips today. So let's watch these clips and we're going to do a little bit of a reaction to them, inshallah.
So these clips here, they're from the march that happened. And a lot of the people who went to the march said there was a racist, and there was black people there, and there was Asian people at the march as well, all in unity. So this black guy, what he did was he put on full white makeup, got a whole makeup team to pretend to be white. He done it before, didn't he? I know what you're talking about. He done it before. I know what you're talking about. So this is some of the clips from that.
All right.
There's no sound.
Are you going to put it up on the screen, is that?
Yeah, I'll put it on the screen.
Where's the line then, mate?
Where?
Yeah.
You tell me. Send them all back.
Every one of them?
Yeah.
You know, 85% of Muslims, they've taken all our jobs. You know that?
Yeah.
And that's the thing I love when people believe false facts. You know, there's been a survey, I don't know if you read it, you look like you read the news. 99% of the Muslims said they want to take over the country. You read that?
Yeah.
Because that's what the thing is, that when false facts just get said to you and you just back it like that, it's just mental, mate. It's just like straight waffle. You are the king waffler.
The government and they're ruling us. They're not helping us. They're not protecting us.
They're not, You know how many Muslims have come into the country since 2019?
See what I mean?
200 million.
See what I mean there, yeah? That's a perfect example, yeah? You can feed them anything, any type of garbage, right? And they're going to take it. Because they're so fueled with hatred, right? You can give them any type of statistic, tell them 200 million have come in, right? And the man's going to believe it.
He's so confident as well, like,
Yeah, I know. Just get rid of him, mate. Just get rid of him. Mate, are you off your trolley, man?
And another was strange, I don't know, you can look it up.
Was it supposed to be that fast?
I think
Well, he's speaking that fast.
Yeah.
He's speaking that fast because he's trying to show you that if you speak a little bit fast, he's not one to understand.
Oh, okay.
He's just mocking him, man.
But he doesn't do it to everyone. So this one's a bit more of a more serious one to react to now.
What are your motivations today for coming today?
To say, I want my voice heard.
Yeah.
Enough is enough. And we need to unite.
Yeah.
And we need to stand up.
Exactly. We need to unite and stand up. And then what specifically do we need to stand up against? Like
Illegal immigration, government are absolutely these people that are coming into our country.
Yeah.
They don't want to mix with us anyway.
Exactly. They don't want to.
They don't want to.
So I say we get them all gone then.
Yeah, they all need to be gone.
I'm saying exactly every single one of them.
Every single one of them. I think Islam should be banned.
Oh, I agree with that. Now you're talking sense.
Islam should be banned.
Yeah.
All for
Who?
all the Muslims, foreigners.
Going frick off, yeah. Where should they go to?
I think white
Yeah.
have more racial abuse than any other race.
Yeah.
So this is obviously she's talking out of her backside, yeah. Because if we were to all go, all the Muslims were to go, bro. When's the last time you went to a hospital?
It's been
Okay, mashallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save you.
No, for myself, for my daughter.
Yeah.
They have those appointments
Bro,
and stuff. Yeah.
how many Muslim people did you see walking around there?
Everywhere, man.
There's so many of them, right?
Everywhere.
Obviously, you can't get rid of them. She's saying that she's got a problem now with immigration, right? I get it. If there's an illegal immigrant that shouldn't be here, right? Who's being a nuisance.
Yeah,
Right? So look, if he's an illegal immigrant, right, causing a nuisance, right, who's not contributing to society, then fair enough. Okay, I'm not saying that there should be illegal immigrants here. I think whoever's coming over, right, they should come over to the appropriate channels. Yeah.
When they say illegal immigrant, majority of them refer to those.
She never said illegal immigrants. She said all the immigrants. She said all the Muslims.
I'm saying
all the foreigners.
Whenever they refer to it, they refer to those come from the war-torn countries, which instigated by these guys. So you go there, you invade, you destroy everything, and then when they decide to come, like, why are you here? Like, what am I supposed to do in my own country? You ruined it. The Middle East in its entirety. It's been ruined, because people of that country or that area, you wanted to take control. The other country wanted to take oil, so you ruined it now.
Sheikh, look, I worked in a refugee council for a while, yeah? So I saw refugees coming in from war-torn countries, right? Coming into here, not only war-torn countries, just they just escaping from their home country, right? Coming over here to seek asylum. They're asylum seekers.
Yeah.
Some of them were Muslims, yeah. Majority of them that I saw were non-Muslims, right? Even if they were coming from Pakistan or India or whatever, right? They were saying they were Christian. They registered their religion here as Christians.
There are a lot of Christians there, so it makes sense.
Yeah. So what she's saying, right? First of all, let's just dissect what she said. And she said, look, get rid of all of them, all the Muslims, all the foreigners, right? So why is it only Muslims? See how she says foreigners, and all of a sudden Muslims are the bad people, right? I reckon this is because this has been fed through the media.
It is.
The media has been a tool, and over years it's been drip feeding people. Not only media, Hollywood as well.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Every
These
bad guy is a
movies,
Muslim.
bro, have you seen these movies? Yeah, I know, mashallah, you don't watch movies, yeah. Mashallah, it's good. But there's some movies, right? You know, they'll show that the American soldier, you get me? He's coming in all tooled up, you get me? Whatever, and he's coming across some terrorist, and you see the terrorists acting all junglies, this time, the other, right? So they've been brainwashed, right?
Yeah.
That this is what these foreigners are like, and this is what Muslims are, right? You know, they're so bad people. So they've been brainwashed through Hollywood, through the media. You know, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said as well, "Inna min al bayani la sihra."
Exactly.
So from the way that they use their bayan, the way that they use their speech, they've basically brainwashed people into thinking that, you know, we're some sort of evil type of people, right? All you have to do is watch this podcast to know that, listen, we're just normal people trying to make a positive change in society, right? But they're not. They're watching the mainstream media, they're watching mainstream Hollywood movies, and she's got it fixated in her head that all foreigners, right, are bad, that they shouldn't be coming in, and the only religion that she's going to bash against now is Islam. When if you look at, compared Islam to Christianity, Christianity is barbaric. If you look at the Bible,
you know, I was gonna search up these most crime happened by who and all that. That's what I was doing before.
Yeah,
I wanted to get
there's no need. There's no need, right? They turn around and say, "Oh, there's so many Muslim grooming gangs. This, time, the other." Yo, when they done the report, majority of pedophiles and this, time, the other were white middle-aged men, right? But the point I'm trying to make is, Islam has been painting that they're supposed to be bad, right? Whereas Islam is a religion of peace. Islam brings about peace. If you look about how Islam entitles people for human rights, Islam is all about human rights.
Of course.
It's based on adl,
of course,
on justice,
of course,
right? And if you look at Christianity, they're the one who are saying kill the babies, burn the women, this, that, and the other. If you look at Judaism, they're the one who's saying that everybody else is inferior, we are superior. And why all of a sudden is Islam the bad religion?
You know what's strange?
Lack of education, and they've been fully brainwashed.
What's strange is, you know, the feminism in this country, or the Western world in its entirety, why did it start? Did the Muslim invade you to try and torture your woman? It's because you were treating your own woman right, weren't giving them any right whatsoever. Well, then feminism, well, obviously that becomes a thorn in their way now, but what's funny is that, you know, feminism, they're getting, you know, abused because of these people who are identifying as well everything. So now they're like, whatever us. But I was gonna go to another point, but you know, my mind.
But let's look at that feminism one, yeah. They weren't giving women rights. They weren't allowing them. When I say they, let's talk about the British colony. Right. Right. In Britain here alone, women never had a right to an education.
No.
They weren't even allowed to attend universities. Right. They never had a right to vote. Right. So let's just look at these 3 points, bro. The first university in the world was a Muslim woman who done it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
What was her name? Fatima. Right.
Fatima bin something.
Yeah, she was a Tunisian woman. She opened it in Morocco, in Fez, Morocco. Right. Islam, it came down 1400 years ago and gave women, you know, rights of not only rights to vote, but rights of, you know, inheritance. You get me?
Yeah.
You know, giving them the equal rights and this, that, and the other, right? Bro, what the hell? And this is what I'm saying. If somebody who does the research, somebody who's got an ounce of, you know, bro, you don't even have to do research now. You can just Google this information and it's there apparently. Ask ChatGPT. You get me? Even ChatGPT won't be able to tell you anything otherwise. You get me? These are facts, right? The Muslims, we had, the medical sciences advanced because of Muslims, right? You'll still be, living in mud huts. You get me? You wouldn't even have flowing water in your house today if it wasn't for Muslim technology, right? You still probably wouldn't even be washing your backside. You get me? If you hadn't learnt it from the Muslims, right?
That's
And there's still
historical
not
fact,
most of them.
While these guys didn't know how to build toilet, we were in Middle East. I know, again, I don't like that, by the way, going back in history, because we'll do it now. But point is, back in history, in our Middle Eastern golden age, we were what we were doing while these guys didn't know how to build a toilet. Well,
so that's what I'm saying. So we spoke about this in our last podcast. If you haven't seen it with Dr. Shahrul, mashallah, he made a very good point. He said, look, we were great. We need to become great again. And he went across, how research is so important, and how, we stopped doing the research and we stopped advancing in place. That's why. But anyways, that point, we've already addressed that point in the last episode.
That's fine, because I was going to go into that point.
But look, in this episode, what I wanted to say is, look, you can feed them any type of nonsense
they're
going to believe it. Because they're not actually going to go out and open a book and read it for themselves. You know what I mean?
Of course they won't.
Why is it? Like, obviously, we're studying in madrasa. We know if somebody comes up to you with something, we're going to question it. We're not just going to blindly follow. We've just been programmed like that. Ain a dalil aki. You know what I mean? Where is your proof? Do you know what I mean? So we're going to have to ask that question. You give me, what is the proof? Where's the reference over here? We can't even write a fatwa now until we got, references from Badayo Sanaya or Rad al-Mukhtar or, Al-Mabsut or something like that, right? So we're programmed like that. But I'm saying these people who've got a lack of education, a lack of knowledge, they don't even, all they do is they wait for payday and then they go and spend it down at the pub, right? You can feed them any type of nonsense. So that was a perfect example, right, of somebody who doesn't know anything about history, about British colonialism, right, about how they went out into the world and they destroyed all these countries. And now she's got the audacity to turn around and says, get rid of all the foreigners. Do you not know what your country did, love? Do you not know how many countries they went and they tore apart, and how many people they uprooted, and how many people they got rid of their homes? Right? Obviously, she doesn't. If you just gotta, I feel like sometimes grabbing these people and sitting them down and say, here you go, love, here's a cup of tea, here's a digestive biscuit, and I just shut up and listen to me, right? And give them a true dose of what history was and what they did, and then let's see if they can turn around. Because, you can tell that she's just sitting there listening to BBC, right? And just saying, yeah. Listening to, our mate Tommy Robinson, right? And, all of these, what's her name? Sarah Braverman or whatever it is, her name is, you know what I mean? Right? And listening to all of these Suella, right?
Yeah, the Abu Lahab's wife, okay.
Right? All of these, right? Listening, what was that?
Abu Lahab's wife, she reminds me of that one.
Abu Lahab's wife, you get me? Suella, whatever her name is, you get me? Listening to all these people, all these hate preachers, right? They don't have a brain to think from themselves. And one other thing that she said that really ticked me off is that Muslims don't want to integrate in society. Love, now when the bin strikes were happening, who was cleaning up the streets? It was the masjids that were out there. I never saw no Christian churches banding together to clean up Birmingham. It was the Muslim masjids, it was the mosques, it was the imams, it was the congregants that go into that masjid. They were the ones who were out there, cleaning up. So how can you turn around and say we're not contributing to society? Just go and ask HM Revenue and Customs who the most taxpayers in this country are. You'll soon find out yourself, love.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? So that was despicable. I'm glad the guy actually went out there and done that, because the only thing it's demonstrating is their stupidity and the fact that how ignorant they actually are. Now, again, I know that that's not the vast majority of the British public. That's just a small minority of them, 110 to 150,000 of them, not the millions like Tommy Robinson wants you to believe. You hear me? Tommy Robinson is just a stooge. He's the one who turned around and had half a Union Jack and half an Israeli flag on there. You hear me? So we know We know who's backing him.
Where's the money coming from? Yeah.
You hear me? We know who's backing him. But go on, what's this next clip then?
You a question, yeah?
What's
your favourite immigrant?
I've got a favourite immigrant.
That's the right answer. What's your least favourite though?
I've got one. Oh, Islam.
Islam, yeah, that's a good immigrant.
If you're not Islam, get out of the country. Every pound, 76 pence out of every pound goes to Islamic hotels.
How did you know all this stuff? Who teaches
Because I
you?
watch everything. I'm very out of it.
So wait, how many Muslims are there in the country?
There's about 14,000. And they're breeding like fucking rabbits.
There's 14,000 in the country.
Yeah,
That's absolutely
English
outrageous.
women, English women, shut up.
There's 14,000
Yeah,
Muslims
do you know
here.
Queenie Hopkins?
But wait, there's 14,000 Muslims in the country.
No,
There's 14,000 Islams in the whole country.
All spread about, there's more than that.
There's a lot more than that, mate.
Well, how many then?
About 20,000.
20? Oh, no, mate. Don't say that, don't do that, don't. There's not, no. No, there's not, there's not.
There is. Now they
Oh, you're
get
making me scared,
More
mate.
Muslims in the rest of the country.
Wake up, love. There's about
Making me
20,000
cry,
just in Birmingham alone.
Any other country, it's more Muslims.
You're making me cry, you're making me cry.
Oh, you got the
Listen, guys.
stats there as well.
Listen, guys, I just want to come out and say something, yeah? Don't judge me for this.
We're not going
We
to
don't
judge
judge
you.
people, mate. We don't judge
You don't judge people.
No, don't fuck. I'm
We're
told you,
English,
man.
fucking English.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't like black people.
No do I. No do I.
So we're on the same page.
Fuck, right? Black people.
I know what
Oh.
We don't need them.
All
Aye, aye.
right, can we get a picture, all of us together?
Huzzah!
That's a great pic. But listen, guys.
Don't
Like,
like black side anymore. I'm all getting out of the
oh,
country
well,
now.
yeah, fair. Well, where
This
that
is a
comes
white
from.
country, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Christian country.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah.
don't need blacks, we don't need Islam, we don't need fucking
Yes, we don't need the
need
blacks.
Jamaicans, we don't need
So,
no one like that.
what would
That's
you-
as far I think the great
What would you do if you saw a black right now?
Do you know where I got my bag?
What would you do?
I've got 3 knives in my bag, I've got a
You got 3 knives in your bag
Yeah.
and you'd use them on the black if you saw
yeah,
one.
I would.
Oh, mental. That's crazy.
No, I didn't give a me. Do
Good. I'm glad you do that.
you want to say them?
No, I will be fine actually. Yeah, we'll be
I
good.
put one in the cement box for a Chinese blade that fucking do me artery.
Oh,
And I
will it?
couldn't give a fuck.
Sheikh, I don't know. What do you make of that, man? That's just like
I don't know what to
diabolical.
start
I've already
believing.
spoken how thick they are. You know what I mean? And now, okay, so now we know, right? It's not only Muslims. Thank
No.
God for that. You get me? You get me? Now she's painting everyone with the same brush
Everyone's
now.
bad, yeah.
Now she's got a problem with black people. So then now you get those black people who are out on these, you know, white supremacist marches as well. Wake up, guys. Smell the coffee. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how much of a coconut you think you are. They're only going to take you for face value.
They, of course.
Tell her she's talking about black people. They've been enslaving black people for thousands of years now. You get me? It's only since recently, you get me, that, you know, BLM came out and black lives started to matter to them.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Tell her that's fine.
Well,
What
they
I
still
don't
don't
get
care.
here is those bloody those Indian man them who are out there. Have you seen that guy, that Sikh guy with the turban and that?
You know, should I say
Wearing
on-
his fake Gucci shirts and stuff like that, and going out there and saying, "Oh yeah, he can't even speak the language, fam."
They have ihsas come to the as Ustad, this inferiority complex. They will never feel superior to anybody. They will always feel inferior. I can link it to religion, to you know, what Allah told us in the Quran about these type of people. Anyone who is mushrik, they automatically have inferiority complex, just by default. Because they always be on the back foot defending or trying to get along with this guy, this group, that group. That's just the way it is. There's another group's the same problem with them as well. But anyway, it's another topic for another day with some sheikh, inshallah.
You're a sheikh, bro.
No, I'm not there yet. Need to have some bit more white beard, you know. Look like a buzurg, you know.
MashaAllah,
Get some tasbih and go
mashallah.
maybe that'll...
MashaAllah. Well, I just don't get it, man. Thank you, Amin, for showing us those clips. But you just got me wound up now. Do you know what I mean? I knew it was bad, you get me, but I didn't realize that, you know, it was this bad. And like I said, I know it's not the vast majority. These are just like, you know, this is one geezer's social experiment. And I'm glad he went out and done it. You know, people need to start opening their eyes and realize how thick some of these guys who are going out on these marches are. So don't take them seriously. You know what I mean? But what we do need to have an eye at is who's in the background. You know, I keep going back to this again because I honestly don't know. You get me? Is it, you know, okay, they probably say, Tommy Robinson, he's like the, you know, their dad now, and he's the one who's calling all their shots. But even he is a puppet on strings.
Of course.
You know what I mean? There's somebody behind him as well, pulling the strings and saying, Tommy, go this way now, go that way now, do this now, do this now. And it's almost as though they're just testing. And you know why they keep prodding the Muslims? They just want to see how strong we are.
You know the guy who was killed in America, but I know that he got shot. Charlie what? Kirk. You know him? I have my little theory in my head, but I think he was there's a reason he was removed, because his eyes were opening to reality. Yeah. I think he was one of these, the lost ones that were trained to say whatever they tell him. But then when you start thinking for yourself, like, yeah, so he's gonna open his mouth, so Bismillah.
So they killed him.
Send him to his God. That's again, this is some theories up there, but
I don't know. I don't know the guy. See, I heard about that as well, right? And I heard about that, and I heard that they said. I was just thinking to myself, please don't be Muslim. Please don't be Muslim.
Yeah, he was Muslim.
You get me? Who was he in the end of it?
So some white guy.
I know he's white, but white guy can be Muslim as well.
He was far left, and
they're one of those rednecks.
No.
So he's a redneck Trump supporter, and he went and shot him up.
No, was he Trump supporter? I thought he would be from the left.
Well, obviously, if you go by your theory, he could be anybody, right?
No, because he spoke up against the left, so you would expect a left guy to shoot. I didn't read through because I couldn't be bothered. I don't really care, to be honest.
You hear me? And then she goes, Islam should be banned. How can you promote freedom of speech, right? And then turn around and say, we're going to ban Islam, right? And going back to that point you said about, feminism and things like that, it wasn't Islam that's brought about feminism. It was because you guys were being unfair to women.
Of course.
You hear me? And that's why feminism came out. Islam is there now to sort of control feminism and steer it in the right direction and say, listen, you do have rights, but these are your rights.
With the if I were to call it the theology or what the feminism have, I think if a Muslim woman have a hardcore feminist theology or understanding, I don't think they'll be Muslim, because it goes against completely some of what Islam stands for. So it goes against what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed for both genders. Anyway, that comes across the extreme when I say it. But
no, but the point you're trying to make is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith, kullu mawludin yuladu ala fitra. You get me? That every single person who has been created on their natural inclination. So everybody has a natural inclination, right? We need to try to find that. That's our base, that's our center. So yeah, man. Yeah. So listen, look, we've spoken a bit about it. We've seen the clips, we've reacted to them. We know that is a whole load of nonsense again, but Sheikh, we cannot deny that there's actually happening.
Yeah.
Right? So what do you think, we as Muslims living here, right, how should we react to this? What should our endeavor be, going through this now? Because, it used to happen back in the days.
Yeah, of course.
You get me? Back in the days, we had these, racist, white supremacists going out there, they just call it packy bashing. Right? They used to go out there and they used to prey on the weak people on their own or whatnot. They used to beat them up. Right? A while ago, you saw them, they were attacking all the taxi drivers and things like that. Yeah. Right? So we cannot deny that is actually happening now. So what do you think that we should be doing then, Sheikh? How should our behavior be?
Well, one of the strange things I don't understand, why would you attack someone who's trying to earn his living, and the way he's earning his living is by serving your country? Taxi drivers, that's what they're doing. They take people from A to Z, whatever they're supposed to, A to B, right?
Yeah.
So it's a bit strange, isn't it? I would understand if you attack someone who's abusing someone and you went to defend them. What Musa alayhi done, fair enough, understandable. But that's a bit strange. But anyway,
I don't want to sit here and try to justify their actions because there is no justification
I'm not
for them. I don't even want to try to understand it, right? Because, like I said, alhamdulillah, you get me? I had a decent primary school education, and even through that, I realized what was right and wrong.
Understanding
do you know what I mean? So, Sheikh, let's just try and wrap this up now. What should we be? I just want to leave a few points, inshallah, and I'll try and share a few points.
That's fine, inshallah. So, if you look at the beginning of Islam, for 13 years of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muslims were abused, tortured, killed, tortured in a way that we can't even handle the 1% of the torture they went through. One story comes to mind about the Khabbab radiallahu ta'ala. His back was burnt, and so much that it left a permanent mark on his entire back. Hazrat Sumayya radiallahu ta'ala, she was killed by Abu Jahl. Her husband Yasir, same, he was killed as well. Ammar radiallahu ta'ala and his father. And then we can go on, Bilal and so on and so forth. But point is, the companions went through these tortures, so many different levels of tortures. At the end, just to understand the importance of La ilaha illallah. sometimes, there's something I said to my student, I say to them sometime when I teach Sirah, is that entire history of Muslims, whenever Muslim woke up, it was after they were brutally abused. That's when they woke up. Read the history, you'll see the same thing repeating again and again, where we are abused in a way that nobody else is abused. Then finally we wake up and we defend ourselves. And I compare that to, for example, sword, or if you want to compare to diamond. The iron, you get it out of the earth, is kind of useless, looks dead, looks boring, you don't want to look at it twice. When you put it on fire and you give a good beating, it becomes a sword. The example of diamonds I give, it's under the earth, under so much pressure. Because of the pressure, it becomes diamond. If you leave it on the surface, it's nothing. It's nothing. So Muslim, we be like that in the entire history. We need a good beating. He actually wakes us up, and then we become something great, and then downfall. And this downfall, I would recommend you study, Ibn Khaldun, his Muqaddamah. He actually talks about how an empire starts with, nothing, and then gets to the peak. And the peak is what Allah describes in the Quran as lahu la'ib. When they reach that level where America is right now, by the way, it's basically a downfall from there. So what I'm saying is going to be Bismillah. So they're downfall.
Yeah, we're seeing that now.
It's going to happen because they reached the peak now. There's no any further to go. So we're just going to be like this. Anyway, another topic for another day. What lesson we can take?
You heard it here first.
I'm sure if you look into anybody who's interested in history, you'll get these points anyway. Actually, my students already know because they hear it in class.
Okay.
But point is, what lesson we can take for ourselves is that one is sabr. Sabr, because that's how companions were taught to be patient when they were going through the same thing. Number two, sometimes, unfortunately, we get angry and we react in a way how they done what they've done. So they've done something, we get angry, we do something back. This never solves any issue. This never solves, it just creates more problem. Instead, learn to work, in a smart way, where in this country you have authorities. Well, you can get them involved. Or at least have enough proof, evidence that they've done something wrong. So when you're doing something in self-defense, let's just say, like for example, recently the masjid was burned in Leeds or somewhere. Have you heard that masjid was burnt? Now, one solution would be Muslim go out and burn a church or something. Would that be a good thing? No, that would not be allowed Islamically. We put moral, the law of the country and all that aside. Islamically, it's not allowed. So the only solution you have, work with the the local authorities that you have, get them involved. This is what happened. Something needs to be done about this. And then the little bunch of Muslims you get there, mashallah, get hyped up very quick. Well, speak to them. That's not how our Rasul reacted. What happened for 13 years, Prophet of Allah, and what's amazing, he's the Sayyidul Mursaleen, not just a Sayyidul Mursaleen, he's the Sayyidu Wuldi Adam, the master of entire mankind. This man is being abused again and again and again and again and again for 13 years straight. How did he react to all of that? Patience. That's the first lesson we were taught. Obviously, there's a lot more, but the patience is the main core of it. And because of this patience, these same companions, the core companions of Mecca, became the root of, today we're sitting in a country which at that time nobody came to visit. We're preaching Islam because of those patience of those companions. That's the only, obviously there's a lot more we can go on, but the main point I will give is that take that as a lesson for us, how to react is be patient. And then find the way to react in a smart way. Well, we watch videos, man. Come on, you don't need to get angry to react to them. If you watch the we'd get popcorn out and watch them. It's just jokes. It's funny that these people don't know what's going on. Some of them, unfortunately, they're so jahil that they don't even know they're being abused.
Yeah, you feel sorry for them.
No, we feel sorry for them. So that's the only way to react to these people, not to get angry. Instead, just feel sorry. Make dua. Allah give them guidance. Or Allah give, increases their brain cells or something. I don't know. That might be beneficial.
Mashallah.
I'll hand it to you, whatever
those mashallah are very good points. Obviously, the thing that you mentioned, sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests a person with people to make them stronger. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this period that we're going through a source of making us stronger in our faith. You know what I mean? Because we're worrying about the future generations. We're worrying about our children. In what society are these guys growing up in? So I think, mashallah, you made some very important points there. That yes, we need to be patient, we need to be persevering, and when there's a time to react, we need to react in a good way, mashallah. What I would say is that I have 3 points. And these 3 points are shared by other Muslims and other brothers that I've been, talking with. Recently, I had a meeting with, Brother Shahid Butt, and we linked up, and the brothers from the Muslim Collab. Shout out to those brothers, mashallah, they're doing some amazing work. So when we sat down and we try to narrow it down, like okay, what is it that what's the message that we want to push out there, to not only the youth but the Muslims of society. We all unanimously agree that there's 3 points that we need to start working on, right? Number one is our spirituality.
Of course.
So that touches on what you said. You hear me? Our reliance in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Muslims of the past were warrior scholars, were strong, were so steadfast in their deen, right? The Muslims of the past, conquered, the world, you hear me, from Saudi Arabia all the way to China, right? Because they had spirituality.
Of course.
They had full tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? There's no point in turning around and saying, yo, I'm going to go to the gym and lift weights and X, Y, and Z if you don't have the spirituality. Because if you don't have that taqwa, then, like you said, your reaction is going to be wrong.
Of course.
We need to make sure that when we react to certain things, that is grounded in our faith, in Islam. So spirituality, tazkiyah, right? There's no point in us going around there and shouting all these slogans if our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is frailing. We need to have a strong relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, stay in our daily salahs, pay our zakat, get onto our zikr, right? Perform our pilgrimages, just the bare basic stuff what we're supposed to be doing, but get really in tune with that. Tasawwuf, right? Because how are we going to cope with all this negativity around us is if we have a good relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our iman is intact, right? So spirituality, number one. Number two, being financially independent, right? Making sure that yes, we are spiritual, but at the same time, we've got to have an ear to the ground as well. Our eyes are open. We don't want to be reliant too much on the state. We don't want to be, living hand to mouth. We want to be financially stable so we can pay for our children's education, right? We can send them to the best schools. We can give them, the resources and the things that they need. We can pay for their madrasa education. We can pay for their tuition, right? So we can send them so they can get a good grounding in Islam. And for that, we need to be financially stable. Right? How can we raise the next generation if we are constantly, living hand to mouth?
Exactly.
A lot of the children, that even they come to our madrasa, whether it's here at Darul Ilm and Noor Academy, they're the ones who have got, Netflix accounts and Disney accounts, and they're paying all of these types of subscriptions, and then they're struggling when it comes to paying their madrasa fees.
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
We need to be financially smart. We need to stop putting money into the system and start putting our money into our Islamic organizations, right? We need to back our local masajids, and we need to unite financially as well. We spoke last week with Dr. Shahrul about, all these charities, right, that are popping up left, right, and center. And I asked him, I says, what would happen if we need, what would you say to somebody who's starting off a charity? He says, don't. There's already another charity out there. Support them instead.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So why are you going to go out there doing your own fundraising when you can join on with somebody who's already doing it?
It's become a business now, isn't it?
Exactly. It's become a business. And we spoke about that last week. If you haven't checked out that episode, guys, check it out. So we need to be financially stable, right? So we're not reliant on anybody else. Why is it that masjids are looking for handouts from the government and applying for, this grant and that grant? The Muslim community themselves should support that masjid in whatever they need. We need youth clubs, right? We need youth programs running inside our masjids. We need breakfast clubs. We're having to get these grants from this time. No, it should be the community themselves that should be supporting that masjid. Masjid should have enterprises running inside to generate more income so they can invest it back into the community. It should be the community feeding the masjid, and then it should be the masjid, filtering stuff back out to the community in areas that it needs. Why is it that our areas, why are we reliant on, the government or the council to come and pick up our rubbish? No, we as Muslims should band together and have enough money in our waqf systems to look after our rubbish.
Of course.
So finances is very important. And the third point is, having a bit of physicality as well. Gone are the days, Sheikh, right? That, sitting down, pot-bellied, right? And, just sitting down, because it gives a wrong image, my brother.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? It gives a very bad image. We need to be physically fit. So when somebody looks at, we can stand up for ourselves. When diplomacy fails, you got to have a righteous hook. They're ready, to do whatever it is that you need to do. I'm not saying we should be going out looking for trouble. When trouble comes to our doorstep, we need to be able to defend ourselves, protect our families. When the call comes, we need to be able to say, Inshallah, labbaik. Right? We're here and we are ready. And soon, it's going to come to our doorsteps, and it's already here. You're getting these far right extremists, these, drunken idiots who are walking around and this time, we know they're stooges. We don't have a problem with them. But when they come to our communities and they come to our areas and they start causing problems, we just need to be able to have enough clout about us that we can stand there and say, you what, mate? I don't think so. Not on my watch. Having a bit of physicality about us, getting into the gyms, going into fitness, being so. These were these 3 points that the brothers made, and I agreed with that. I said, of course, we need to have this. We need to be spiritually aligned, right? We need to be financially stable, and we need to be physically able.
This reminds me of I don't know who said this about the companions and the tabi'in, what you mentioned, but the Arabic version, rubanun fil layl, furusanun fil nahar, or something like that, or along the line of, during the night they would be ruban, and the entire night in the praying, spiritual ghiza, as tasawwuf they call it, spiritual food.
Exactly.
Then physical, well, fursan, and by fighting in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the horseback.
And what we're doing, in nighttime we're Netflixing it. You hear me? And then daytime we're just, chilling around on our phones and this, that, and the other. No. We need to get out of this culture now, and we need to start, stepping up. And, we do dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy. We do dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects, Muslims all around the world, and gives us Muslims here living inside the UK, enough understanding, right, that we can conduct ourselves in a positive manner and protect not only ourselves and our families, but our communities as a whole, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakumullah khair, Sheikh, for your time. Jazakumullah khair to the viewers and all the brothers who are in the background. Every so often I give a shout out to our brothers. Mashallah, we have some people who work behind the scenes. You may not see their faces, whether it's, setting up the cameras and doing all the editing, whether it's, finding the guests and doing the research and things like that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them as well. Remember them in your du'as, inshallah. Remember me in your du'as. Remember Shaykh in your du'as, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum. We'll check you out in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.